Hey, it's pee wipes, pee wipies, pee wipes, wipe the pee away from your pants. Instead of the pee going on your pants, use the little wipies from the pee wipes, wipe peas, pee wipe the pee from the pee wipes. With the pee wipes, use the pee wipes, use our pee wipes by Dinky Tehc. Dinky Tehc pee wipes by Dinky Tehc. Yes, they're clean and good material, and yes, they're useful for wiping away the pee. If you're the male and you put your, member back in your pants, and you use the pee wipes before putting the member away, and after peeing, and therefore you are more clean throughout the day. Pee wipes. Yeah, welcome to the news. Hey, how are you doing? Yeah. In today's news, we've got a couple different things. It's like a bit peculiar, trying to build up on from yesterday. Certain items, developing momentum, developing a narrative, a story that is unforeseeable. It's unknown where it's coming from necessarily. It comes from certain places that are unforeseen, I guess you could say. It's just a matter of writing the news throughout the day, and at the same time so it's interesting because it's like you're writing the news, but at the same time you're trying to make things, and you're making things, and it's like marketing as a whole, because you're trying to make a company and you're trying to make an experience for people at the same time. So it's internal and it's external, and at the same time that's kind of what we're trying to do with Dinky Tehc and Change for Game Studios, because we're trying to develop momentum within and in an external and an internal sense. So it's other people can hear this podcast, and at the same time it's thoughts that are percolating throughout the day. So that's internal, and then it's externalized at the end of the day, in essence, in the news. And we're broadcasting the news today from a space where other news is being broadcasted and such in the city of New York. And it's interesting because some of the time, it's there's been a long past and a long history in this city, and basically the whole of Dinky Tehc and Change for Game Studios was developed in this city, in NYC, and so therefore it's just kind of interesting to be able to develop and continue to try to develop. This podcast is kind of a thing that's kind of a blossom from past work and such things that has to do with the brand as a whole, and trying to develop more of the brand, more context for the brand is a continuous interesting process, because it's trying to unfold the brand and at the same time develop a model or a mold or a template, if you will, to try to do the same thing for other brands and such things, for other people and other brands to be able to try to develop some sort of a mold template, a prototype, if you will, of a certain type of doing media and such things, and documenting as opposed to creating, and using journalism, which at the same time is documenting but developing and creating at the same time, because it's that documentation that's creating and developing context for tomorrow and such things, and yesterday and today and tomorrow, I guess. So it kind of adds up to one thing. In essence, it's it adds up somewhat, but it's also context for each side to relate to a greater interest that has to do with adding up and making an equation that adds up compound interest, and adds up certain numbers and numeric growth and exponential growth, if possible, to be able to continue to try to add to a story. And that story is a narrative, and that narrative has energy, and that energy has to come from life experience energy that is building up momentum and such things. And so it's a combination of storytelling, momentum building, and journalism at the same time. So you're developing experience, and that experience is building on itself in terms of continuous journalism, because that journalism is also it's like a code. It's like a code for remembering the days and the times and the experiences that were had, and how each energy that was packed into each of those days is aligned with the future of a continuous linear narrative that has to do with a brand and a development of a brand, so that brand has the ability to continue to grow momentum and such things, which all people are anyways. All people are brands anyways. All people are brands in essence anyways. It's just a matter of acknowledging it. But it's also a matter of trying to fulfill the unfulfilled potential market, which has to do with fulfilling potential that's unfulfilled. And many times that has to do with concentrating, focusing, acknowledging, understanding what is a good path and avenue for an individual to take based on something called ikigai, I guess, which is something that Matt Gray uses as the term, which has to do with developing a context and a crossover of differing formats of understanding of differing items that overlap from differing industries that develop a focus and a niche that might be some focus for any individual to be able to try to focus on, to be able to be sort of good at a given industry, to be able to shine in or be best in a certain industry or a certain niche or a certain market pool for a certain person and an entrepreneur to be able to try to fulfill that market pool demand. A market pool is also, it's a symbol for demand, basically. So to be able to fulfill that pool of demand, an entrepreneur has to be aligned with that specific demand energy, in essence. But anyways, getting back to the first part of the podcast, talking about broadcasting journalism, in essence, it's kind of like interesting how it's just like, certain things are items from yesterday, sort of coming together in terms of just like focuses from yesterday, because this is, it has been a past focus, Dinky Tehc and Chase for Game Studios. So trying to close certain gaps and trying to have yesterday come to today and such things is interesting, because we're trying to develop this robot that like is like a transformer. Like Dinky Tehc is like a robot transformer, in essence, and he's like trying to take on different parts from yesterday, different parts, and like add them to themselves, like a transformer, like a robot, in essence, like the robot in the Transformers movie, except the transformer of Dinky Tehc is a machine that's very unforeseeable and unknown. And it's the same with all people, and by unforeseeable and unknown, I mean it's not as clean cut and cookie cutter cut as the ones in the Transformers movie that all come together in the form of a Camaro, for example, a Camaro of a car, which is all nice and clean cut and comes together like a Camaro or any other car, like those Transformer cars in that movie do necessarily. But it's kind of like, what I mean by that is like it's a lot more deformed in many ways. It's still like a car, like a vehicle, because also this as a company as well, Dinky Tehc did as a company start by making cars. It was a company. Our last company name was We Can AR Magic World Studios, which was a transition from making the car to begin with, called the Catharsis, which was in 2014 made as an actual car. And yesterday I was talking about making a little bit of a what was that called? Yeah, I think I talked about it yesterday as well. Talking about making a little bit of like a hovering car, like a hydrofoil, but also like talking to ChatGPT, making a hydrofoil for the air, and it looked like the Catharsis, the little printout that at ChatGPT made to be able to help develop that product, looked like the Catharsis, which was the past vehicle that was made in the past. Anyways, so we're trying to make context, trying to develop context, continuous context, if you will, for going forward and developing momentum and such things. It has to do with continuing to try to develop momentum based upon context past made and such, which is necessary to try to add to and develop, more context based on continuation in terms of momentum and growth, and building a process in a certain sense, building a process, and that has to do with momentum, and that has to do with building from different avenues of energy. And a story and a narrative is energy. It's energy. So basically, it's like every day that this podcast is adding to itself, it's like adding more energy. So it's like, it's not trying to just build a story. It's not just trying to build the news. It's trying to build momentum and like a new code, like adding new code to yesterday, so that the functionality of the overall code becomes like more proficient and adds more capabilities and resources to be able to have more functionalities based upon yesterday. It's like adding a different piece, like adding to a car. In essence, like you're adding different pieces to a car, and you're adding elements and different items that it's able to do and such things. And that's how every person in the world is like an entrepreneur in that respect, because they all have the ability to add all these different parts and pieces to themselves as well. And that especially has become accelerated in a much more accelerated fashion than ever before, because of the nature of entrepreneurs, the nature of AI, artificial intelligence, and the nature of AI, artificial intelligence tools, making all these items blatantly apparent for all people to be able to access the ability to pivot, and make differing tools add on top of themselves, just by the nature of AI in of itself. AI in of itself has developed its own process and ability to be able to grow upon itself, to be able to make itself into something that is much more like a force and a resource and an energy that's greater than anybody has had the ability to be able to imagine or conceptualize in the past, because it is at a place and a state of maturity that is unique outside of anybody's acknowledgement or past ability to understand necessarily. And it's like not like a critical mass, but it's at a critical mass momentum where it's taking all of the world with it. So no matter what, everybody in the world is an entrepreneur, and at the same time everybody is an entrepreneur machine. So all the tools that they decide to continue to add onto their basket and their bucket and their entrepreneur machine is something that's just a matter of time before everybody's obligated to more so acknowledge elements that relate to entrepreneurship, so that everybody is an entrepreneur, and they all are always continually developing causes, developing out causes, developing on their own machine, adding to their own machine, adding parts and pieces to their own machine, because they all are unique. And it's just an acceleration of acknowledging of this, in essence, that every person is unique like a fingerprint, and being able to acknowledge the combination of entrepreneurship makes it so that all people are basically adding to their entrepreneur machine. And basically Dinky Tehc and Change for Game Studios is exemplifying the fact that all people are machines to begin with. And in this same respect, where just like Dinky Tehc is a machine, he's like a transformer, he's like a mechanism with many different parts, as being spoken about as building the machine within this podcast and such things, that it's also adding value to all people being able to understand their own machines. Everybody, every person, every unique individual, every soul has their own machines. Now especially with AI, their own machines. Everybody is their own machines. Everybody's making their own machines on a continuous basis, and especially with technology being unavoidable with AI, basically, and it's basically taking over the world, because it has to take over the world, because it's at such an exponential high growth rate, frequency of unfolding, exponential expansion and growth, and will not be able to go backwards based on the nature of perpetuity and the nature of energy in of itself, and that natural nature energy in of itself, and that force is so significantly great and significant and gravitous that in essence it's already pulling at a state in a gravity that's irreversible in essence. So this exponential growth is just on a trajectory forward focus that in essence is significant. It's pulling everything forward, everyone forward. So it's just making it very much more apparent that everybody's a vehicle, and everybody's also because of these tools, they are a vehicle and they have all these tools, but they're also entrepreneurship vehicles, because they have the ability to improve and impact other nature that is natural energy, which is trying to improve the nature of the world, improving the nature of the world. So everybody's got to have their causes that they're trying to support to make the world a better place and solve problems. And that's how money is actually made. That's how money is supposed to be made. That's how philanthropy energy and monetary energy is made in the old business world, but many of those energies are going by the wayside because of technology and the momentousness of AI. But at the same time, everybody's got their own vehicles, everybody's got their own machines. So that's what Dinky Tehc and Change for Game Studios in effect is trying to be, is become that ice rink in the sky, ice rink where everybody gets to play global games for change, and everybody gets to try to have fun using games for change, try to have fun. So everybody can play together, just like in Pokemon Go, to be able to play together, be able to play games together, and everybody gets their own suits, everybody gets their own transformer suit, everybody becomes their own transformer suit, like Dinky Tehc was talking about before, like the different parts have to do with yesterday, adding different circles and such things to try to develop a story, a narrative that's continuing to try to come together and so to speak, unfold on as the days pass, like in this podcast, I guess you could say. And trying to add to that, it's adding tools, adding capabilities to the vehicle, adding capabilities to the vehicle. That's on a continuous basis what we're trying to do, because obviously vehicles are in motion, energy is in motion. It's a continuous engine energy in motion, a building process for continually building upon the energy, building upon stacking the tools, stacking the ability to become better people, try to be able to solve problems better for every person in the world. So Change for Game Studios in essence is a place and a space where all people get to rest and become and charge their machines, all come in for everybody to come together in one single space. Like nature is becoming is like Change for Game Studios, and the ice rink in the sky is like a black hole sun. That's what it's a symbol of. The ice rink in the sky that I've talked about many times in the past is a symbol for Change for Game Studios. Change for Game Studios is like an ice rink in the sky, and in essence, it's trying to just be a giant machine that is there to be able to continue to make and recycle and continue to develop philanthropy energy, continue to make philanthropy energy, just based on all of this continuous vehicle development for all human beings. And as AI collectively pushes everything forward, it also allows everybody to make their own custom vehicles. So everybody in the world has their own custom vehicles to be able to make greater change for good, greater games and greater change for good for everybody in the world, in the human race, to be able to not be racing anymore, but just be able to be making seeking causes and changes and betterment for all human beings in the world, to be able to better their processes, better their vehicles, enhance their vehicles, improve their vehicles, improve the abilities for their vehicles, and optimize these processes as best as possible. So all people are still custom vehicles. And they all come together. They all come together to congregate at Dinky Tehc and Change for Game Studios. Change for Game Studios is the ice rink in the sky, and basically everybody can hang their vehicle suits up. Their vehicle suits, which are suits, and they're also vehicles, and their vehicle suits, just like their Transformer suits. They can hang them up in the locker rooms. Within the ice rink in the sky, that is Change for Game Studios. That's also trying to transition into like a giant social media element, basically thing in the future, because it's all about changing games, and changing all people into their vehicles, which is their highest form of themselves. It's the highest form of themselves. It's fulfilling the unfulfilled potential market. That's our goal at least. Hopefully people check in with us with Change for Game Studios, Dinky Tehc and Change for Game Studios, because that ice rink in the sky is trying to fulfill the unfulfilled potential market. It's trying to support and condone all people in the world to be able to have their own vehicles. Everybody has their own vehicles. Everybody's acknowledging their own vehicles, and they all have locker rooms. There's 8 billion locker rooms in the ice rink in the sky for all people to be able to come through and develop and recharge their suits, their Transformer suits in their locker rooms, in their own lockers that's in the sky, up in the global Change for Games Studios ice rink that's in the sky. That's the giant engine that is philanthropy, energy generation, regeneration, using AI, leveraging all energies in the whole world in any facet and capacity and conceptual ways that it is possible and conceivably viable to be able to do so, to be able to continue to recycle and develop new formats, to be able to develop philanthropy energy for all human beings, to be able to win just by existing, have the ability to be nourished and be fulfilled to a certain extent, to where it is like a happiness process is optimized, as opposed to monetary energy is optimized, which is a pretty decent system of yesterday's world, to be able to try to fulfill the monetary energy system. It is a decent yesterday's world, and for the tools that we had in the past, it is a decent yesterday's world. But for the world of tomorrow, we have philanthropy energy, which is the green, golden, nice, light, most powerful, most efficient, most functional, most best engineered tool for being able to run businesses in the future, to be able to run on philanthropy energy. So all businesses in the future are trying to run on that as we continue to develop for tomorrow, because these entrepreneur suits that everybody is able to move into, these entrepreneurship suits that everybody is able to move into, entrepreneurships. They are entrepreneurships. Everybody gets to become a ship. Everybody gets to become a vehicle. Everybody gets to also acknowledge technology. We have Neuralink. Neuralink is tapping into the brain. And we have other actual suits and things such as a car, for example. An actual car is like a Transformer suit in of itself. You are engaged in that ability to be able to engage the powers of that vehicle when driving it. So all these things considered, it is possible to tap into the lifelines, to the lines of the actual nervous system at the same time, to be able to develop the potential for leveraging technology, to leverage that directly into the body, directly into the mind. And thoughts are things that are in place and implanted also into the mind, like resources that are also added to a vehicle, like a car. Adds different paint jobs, and it adds different things under the engine. It adds different resources to increase the fluidity and the pace and the ability and the space, and the spaces that it can travel, and the ways that it can travel, and the ways that it can optimize its performance based on manipulating the engine and changing the aspects of the engine and the energy flows. It's all a continuous shifting equation, just like everybody in the world is continuously a unique fingerprint, and every face is different in the world, and every fingerprint is different in the world, and that will not change. And so everybody has to change for games. Everybody has to change for these games where everybody is a vehicle. Everybody becomes a vehicle. And this can actually literally and figuratively live forever. It can help people to live forever, because if people are able to upload their consciousness, if people are able to upload their brain into different bodies, different vehicles in the future, This is literally the way to make everybody's energy last forever. So people can potentially live forever. So either like their business can also live forever. The frequency of their business can live forever, because that frequency is a vehicle. That vehicle is traveling on that road of that frequency, and that can potentially live forever, especially if the right technology is present, and if Ray Kurzweil's prediction is present and conceptually possible, where it's possible to be able to leverage the ability to then therefore live forever, like Ray Kurzweil says. And it's also possible to then therefore be able to transfer into vehicles where all become vehicles, where everybody becomes vehicles, and we all are able to leverage each other as vehicles, and everybody can hang all of their vehicle suits to be able to charge in the locker rooms in the sky that is in the Change for Game Studios realm. The Change for Game Studios realm, the Dinky Tehc and Change for Game Studios realm, is an ice rink that's conducive, and it's made for all people to become entrepreneurs, all people to transform into entrepreneurs, into entrepreneurships, so that all people have these vehicle capabilities and acknowledge their capabilities ASAP to be able to help the most problems in the world through the most collective energy development that comes together in the most centralized way, in the most centralized, most significant, most unified way possible, and the greatest unification possible, that all technology is somewhat almost obligating us to be able to do anyway. It's a necessity to be able to develop unification. So this attempt at a company of Dinky Tehc and Change for Game Studios is to be able to develop the ability for all people to be able to have a place to hang and charge their suits, their vehicles, their entrepreneurships, to be able to charge their entrepreneurships, because they have a locker room. They have a locker. Everybody gets a locker within this ice rink in the sky, and this locker is not quantified by normal space and time, so it can stretch to be able to accommodate any ships and suits to be able to charge up, mentally charge up, physically, mentally charge up, and recharge up, and continue to charge up with unification in mind, to be able to come together with all other entrepreneurs in the sky. Because everybody has a locker in the sky, up in the ice rink, in the sky, and every entrepreneur that is a person in the world, every entrepreneur has a ship. Everybody is a entrepreneurship. They are a vehicle. Everybody's an entrepreneur. They have the ability to hang all of their suits and all of their gear in their own personal locker inside of the ice rink that is in the sky, floating in the sky. That is a metaphor for the Change for Game Studios world, the global giving philanthropy energy grid that's in the sky. It's in the sky for all entrepreneurs to be able to come together, all people to be able to become entrepreneurs in the sky, and therefore all people are able to come together to be able to make everybody else's lives a better place, because all entrepreneurs are supposed to be able to solve problems. That's what they do, and following philanthropy energy and having the ability for everybody to have vehicles in the sky. It's also possible for everybody to live forever. It's conceptually possible for all people to live forever by the technology, and using technology and leveraging technology, by being able to leverage the ability to go into this suit, to be able to merge with the suits, merge with vehicles, merge with vehicle technology, so their brains can be uploaded. It can be uploaded into these suits. It can be uploaded into this business energy, this entrepreneurship energy that can live. It can live for energy. It can live forever. So this energy transposes into these entrepreneurship suits. And the energy becomes business energy. It becomes business energy and philanthropy energy at the same time. And that energy is possible that can live forever, especially with Ray Kurzweil saying you can upload brains in the future. You can upload brains into your business vehicle. You can upload brains into your transformer vehicle. You can upload brains into new bodies in the future. And so therefore you can continue to transmit that energy into the future, transmit that energy into on a continuous basis, to be able to make that energy continue to last and continue to make these entrepreneurships continue to fly forever, and all of our energies, all 8 billion people in the world today, for their energy to be able to continue to fly forever, using these technologies that we're talking about, and using also the realizations that all people are vehicles, they are humans, or they are entrepreneurs, and using that to be able to acknowledge the unfulfilled potential that is going on in the world at the current state in today, and leveraging technology of tomorrow to be able to develop the highest form of tomorrow to be able to occur. And so being able to acknowledge this unification, this ability for unification to occur, for all people to be able to become entrepreneurs, is fulfilling the unfulfilled potential market. And it's also making these all people into vehicles, into the realization of vehicles, and it's also making their energy be able to last forever. Their energy be able to last forever with Ray Kurzweil combined with Elon Musk combined with Brian Johnson, who's the person who sold Venmo, to be able to combine all these resources into understanding that it's possible to influence and manipulate cells, hopefully to be able to continue to live on, and continue to improve the natural born bodies, and then also be able to transfer vessels, actually transfer brains into new bodies. So also it's like transferring the brain of a company, but at the same time transferring the brain of a person who's also a company, because all people are companies also. Regardless, there's just a lack of appreciation for individual companies at the current time. The stock is low on those ones, so we're trying to increase and improve the stock on all people by empowering them with the right tools, right interesting tools, to be able to make all people into entrepreneurs, so that all people are able to thrive in this environment of Dinky Tehc and Change for Game Studios, which is the ice rink that's in the sky, and it's hopefully trying to accommodate all people in the world. And in essence, we're doing voluntourism, circle touring. That's what Dinky Tehc is trying to do next. Dinky Tehc is trying to do that next by developing the nature of the energy around all 8 billion people in the world, and doing voluntourism touring, trying to be able to exemplify this energy, draw and withdraw this energy with voluntourism touring. Dinky Tehc is trying to call upon all these energies in the whole world. And also, last but not least, we're talking about HSBC Bank. I talked about it last night. It has a logo that is a influx. It is an influx of a logo. It's an influx of a logo, which is a logo that was started, when I woke up one time in Brooklyn, I went out to the park and drew a picture of that logo before actually connecting with the bank necessarily. HSBC's bank has the logo of an influx point, an inverse point, where the person merges with their vehicle. And that's what Dinky Tehc is. It's a symbol of today. Dinky Tehc is a symbol of today, a merger of past energies coming together with past energies in the workspace today. We merged with past energies and tried to make a Dinky Tehc vehicle combined with yesterday's buildings that we saw in Bryant Park. And today we merged with the Dinky Tehc energy from yesterday to develop like a robot that kind of came from the ground and emerged from the sky, to be able to try to lead the way for all other robots and all other vehicles in the world, to be able to try to continue to develop this Change for Game Studios and Dinky Tehc environment. And today we were able to try to realize that potential, and we had that influx point, just like the HSBC logo, basically. And I talked about seeing the HSBC bank yesterday, which is also where the logo was, and then also in the south where we were, the last location before coming to NYC, there was the same bank was present, to be able to have this weird symbiology. So in a similar way, this influx point was somewhat moving. We were moving towards that influx point. That influx point is reflected upon in the logo, in the bank's logo, and it's also a symbol of what was something that I drew one time in waking up in mid-sleep, drawing that influx point where everybody, in terms of entrepreneurs, merges with their vehicle. They have to conceptualize, do conceptualizing research, like the Ikigai thing that Matt Gray talks about, to be able to connect with that Ikigai, and then upon developing a vehicle, upon continuing to develop a vehicle, they eventually merge with that persona. And that's what that influx logo is all about, and is expressing that, in essence, connecting with those type of wavelengths, and connecting with the right type of energy that also helps so everybody live forever within these business vehicles as well, when they merge with their business vehicles. But that's just the Dinky Tehc version of the live forever vehicles, like Ray Kurzweil is talking about uploading consciousness. This is the Dinky Tehc version of trying to do the same thing, in essence. So basically, in a basic sense, we're just trying to acknowledge and exemplify that this is the new business vehicle development aspect of the Dinky Tehc and Change for Game Studios podcast that we've developed today, just by having this vehicle merger happen with yesterday's energies. And we developed the vehicle from taking the place and the space of where we used to work and do work yesterday. In yesteryear, we used to do work in the place that we merged it with today, and sat in the seats to be able to develop a connection to the controls of the Dinky Tehc vehicle today. The Dinky Tehc vehicle is a transformer robot. It's a dog bat that started to just start its engine in terms of developing the Bat Dog engine for the Bat Dog robot, Transformer robot, by connecting with an old workspace in New York City that had unification occur from the past. So today and now we finally merged. We merged with yesterday. We merged with yesteryear. We merged with those times and that circular energy with that time of waking up in the and going in the park and drawing out the HSBC logo, basically that inverse logo, that inverse situation where you come to that influx point. That is what we reached today. We reached the influx point. And so anyways, sorry this podcast went a little bit long today. And we made a funky little P-wipe weird product also during the day, which is fun and a little bit of a side note. And so hopefully we can just all continue to merge with all people. And I'll just end and close this by saying that all genres of music can be merged with EDM music. All genres of music can be merged with EDM music. So hopefully it's been a decent podcast, and hopefully we can just try to hurry up the process of getting all people in the world to be able to acknowledge their suit, their Transformer suit that's waiting for them in the sky, in the lockers in the sky. Everybody has a locker in the sky. Everybody has a locker in the sky, in this ice rink in the sky, where the global philanthropy energy grid is waiting for everybody to be able to continue to add energy to the philanthropy energy grid. Let's continue to add to this narrative. Let's continue to build together in the whole world that everybody gives to everybody else in the philanthropy energy global giving grid that's connected and connecting everybody to their entrepreneurship suits that's inside, charging right now to all people in the philanthropy energy grid in the sky at the philanthropy energy Dinky Tehc and Change for Game Studios ice rink in the sky, the 3D3 POD engine in the sky that is developing 3D3 POD engine energy that connects to the philanthropy energy global giving games philanthropy energy grid that connects all human beings in the world all the time, perpetually from now on going forward. I guess that's all for now. Thanks again, Dinky Tehc. Bye. Peace. Bye.